This video will help you understand what is expected for the letter of complaint, letter of adjustment assignment. And when I say letter, I'm including in that both letters that go through the postal mail, fewer and fewer of those these days, and more likely an official email. While we used to say email was just for very short messages, the fact of the matter is that more and more professional messages are being delivered by email, hence the recent firing of federal workers through email. So important messages may come to you through email, and you may need to answer complaints of various kinds through email. So when I say, everyone knows what I mean when I say a letter of complaint. When I talk about a letter of adjustment, what I'm talking about is the response to the complaint. So while it was easy for most of you to find a way to think about a complaint you would make, you also need to think about how you would answer someone who's complaining to you about something you're responsible for. And in fact, I'm asking you to turn around after you have written your letter of complaint, and we're talking about a letter that would take up about 1 page of text. The most effective letters do not go on and on. You may have lots and lots of facts to support your analysis of the situation, but you want to limit that to what someone who's getting the letter is likely to read, and that's about 1 page. So this week you're going to write both a letter of complaint and a letter of adjustment yourself, posing as the person who received your letter of complaint. How would someone judiciously answer the complaint that you wrote? So you're portraying both sides of that argument. And so let's go over the basic things that you would be doing. And my screen has just gone crazy here. Not sure why that's there now. Okay, I'll try that. All right, so just basic elements, even of an email. You need to have a salutation. It's always, and you may say, well, of course, dear somebody. Whenever possible, you want to have the name of a person, not just dear company director. You want to be able to name that person. So do your research, do your homework, and figure out what's the name of the person that you're sending your email to. The first sentence in your complaint should state the problem. You will give background later in the paragraph that follows, but you want to let them know right away, what are you asking for? What is the problem that you want to have solved? Put it in one clear sentence. Later in that paragraph, you can give a little more detail about it. The second and third paragraphs, you need to explain why the situation deserves to be corrected. This could be because of the impact of the harm. It could be the number of people who are affected. And you might want to mention documents that you have or that you know of that might help to prove your case. I say second and third paragraphs. It's possible you would only just have a second paragraph. It depends on how much background, how much information you want to give. Remember, I'm saying that for a basic complaint, you probably just want to limit yourself to 1 page of text. But in the last paragraph, again, what are the most emphatic places in a piece of writing? The first sentence and the last sentence. So in the last paragraph, you want to be very clear. What do you want the recipient to do about your problem? That's really important. All right, things to keep in mind. You want to keep your tone as neutral and objective as possible, saying, you people are a big bunch of sick SOBs is not going to help it is not going to persuade them to even read the rest of your letter. It's going in the trash immediately. Don't do that. Whenever possible, use I language. I was inconvenienced by what happened instead of, you inconvenienced me. It may be true that they inconvenienced you, but saying that, pointing your finger at them, is just going to make them mad and less likely to help you out. So bear that in mind and talk about what things appeared from your point of view, how this affected you. I was inconvenienced, not you didn't do this. All right. Certainly you've got to be calm enough about the problem that you don't sound like you're just ranting. The purpose of this letter is to get what you want, not to beat the person you're writing to into the ground. If you want to beat them into the ground, go find a mattress to punch or go to the boxing gym and punch somebody. That's not appropriate to do to try to get what you want. And finally, my last point I have emphasized, this is the third time in this video, keep your complaint to one page. Keep it concise. If they need more details, they'll ask you. Yes, you should provide background about why this needs to be taken care of quickly, but keep it concise. People won't read lengthy complaints, so hit them with your best shot early and don't look back. Again, never threaten. Simply state that you will take further steps to resolve the problem if the recipient can't or doesn't help. All right, so the rubric is listed here. I'm going to be looking for you to give a correct salutation, background on the problem, a final paragraph that concisely wraps up what you want the recipient to do and what action you're prepared to take, that you are keeping a neutral tone, and that your grammar, spelling, and punctuation are as perfect as possible throughout. The email letter of adjustment, I want you to think about, you've already done a writing situation analysis for the letter of complaint. You haven't done one for yourself writing back as the person who was addressed in the complaint letter. But I need you now to put yourself in their headspace. What does the writer of the complaint want you to do? How much does the writer seem to know about the topic? Are there cultural differences that should be considered? And what assistance are you prepared to offer and why? And I need you to, in thinking about this, I need you not to just say, yes, I'll do what you want. I want you to assume that you want to help this person out, whether because it is your ethical obligation, it could be because it is good for your business, depending on the kind of complaint. Again, my complaint was about a donut shop not having donuts after 4 o'clock, which seems to me to be crazy. Again, they're losing my business. It's costing them money. And so when I am responding to my complaint, I might thank the person who complained about bringing this to my attention. That sounds kind of wimpish, but in fact, anything you can do to say to the person who was complaining, I heard what you said, and I'm going to try and do something about it. So here's the basic structure for an adjustment letter. You're going to begin with a reference to the date of the original letter of complaint and to the purpose of your letter, that you're going to try and address that complaint. If you are going to deny the request, and I'm suggesting that you not completely, don't make it easy on yourself. I want you to assume that you might be able to do something about the complaint, but maybe not answer it completely. If you're going to deny the request, do not say, I'm denying your request in the very first sentence. That's the opposite of what we said about the letter of complaint. In the letter of complaint, you say what your complaint is in the first sentence. When you're responding to someone who is hurt or angry, you don't start by putting a big roadblock in their face. In your first paragraph, you're going to express your concern and sympathy for the writer's troubles, your appreciation that they have actually written to you. Again, you may say, well, I don't really want them to complain to me, but put a good face on it. You want to give them some kind of positive motivation to read the rest of your letter. If you're going to deny the request, you need to explain the reasons why the request cannot be granted. And you need to be cordial and non-combative. If you end up saying you will grant the request, make sure that you don't sound like you are begrudging them. You might apologize for an oversight. You didn't realize this was happening. That would be fine. But you definitely don't want to sound like you are you're upset that they've kind of forced you into doing the right thing. Try to keep your dignity somehow through this. Another point is if you're going to deny the request, try to offer some partial or substitute compensation or friendly advice to take the sting out of the denial. In other words, maybe you can't fix whatever is wrong completely, but could you give them a coupon for another donut? I can't figure out what's going on in the Fairmont Donut Shop, but maybe I can give you, I've enclosed in my letter a coupon for a dozen free donuts to try to encourage them, the person who was writing, to come back. All right, then you want to conclude with a cordial phrase somehow. You don't want to leave them feeling like you haven't paid attention to what they were saying. Again, this is whether you accept their complaint or deny their claim. Either way, you want to leave them with something positive. It's very, very important. Why? Again, we said the two most important places in any piece of correspondence are the first sentence and the last sentence. And so you don't want to miss that opportunity in the last sentence to be able to underline that you want to keep a relationship with these people. Even if you have some disagreements along the way, the relationship is something that you want to preserve. Okay, I hope that that makes sense. You are now going to compose. I'd like you to take a look at the readings and examples of complaint letters and adjustment letters. There's a really helpful video. I really like the video I posted this week. I hope you like it too. It goes through what's good and what's bad about complaint letters and adjustment letters. So take a look at those resources and then compose your own complaint letter based on the writing situation analysis you did last week, and then create a letter where you're responding. So I want to make it clear, you're going to submit these letters. You're going to submit both a complaint letter and an adjustment letter into the discussion board for peer review. Please make sure you answer 6 questions about each person's, the 6 questions, 3 about the complaint, 3 about the adjustment letter for each of your replies. And because I'm asking you to do that extra work, you're getting 10 extra points for that assignment this week. There is no quiz. Thanks. I look forward to reading your letters of complaint and adjustment and getting your final scholarship essays and your second drafts of your resumes. Have a good week.